Hey friends, today I wanted to show you how I customized my pink dress using embroidery and dip dyeing. So as a little disclaimer, this dress is not historically accurate. It's just sort of fantasy. I'm going to use it as like an elf dress, something like that, just for fun. So here it is, and I love it. I decided to put some embroidery on the neckline and dip dye it so that this alarming shade of pink would be muted a little bit. I used 5.3 weight linen from fabricstore.com, and this pink was so bright when it came in, I knew I had to do something. So let's take a look at the embroidery first. So using white chalk, I sort of outlined what I wanted to do. I picked out all my colors, and then I got started. At this point in time, my dress is not sewn up on the sides. That way the collar can be a little more flat, excuse me, and I'm able to embroider it and kind of manipulate it a little bit better. I've got my hoop on here, and I'm using a stem stitch to make my stems and make the little stems for flowers eventually. Now, the important thing to know about linen is that if you leave your hoop in too long for days and days at a time, it will leave a crease that even if you wash it or iron it, it might stay there forever. So every time you get up and take a break or put it away for the day, you would like to take the hoop out. So now I'm on to some flowers. I'm going to use a regular kind of chain stitch to do the smaller leaves and the smaller petals. And then these larger leaves, I'm just kind of using straight stitches in a fan leaf shape. I'm not sure if that has a special name or not, but it's very easy to do. Now, as with all sewing, the most important thing about hand embroidery is the tension on the thread. So I'm making sure to use my hoop, and I'm making sure not to pull too hard through all of my stitches. All of my colors are coming together very well. I'm not using anything complicated. The only thing we haven't talked about yet is those darker red or pink buds, and those are used French knots. So easy peasy, nothing hard at all. So here's kind of a halfway done, halfway not video. I really like how it's coming together, and I like the colors. So I've got my embroidery done. I'm going to use a little bit of glue to tack down the knots on the back so they don't go anywhere, because I will use this in my washing machine on the delicate cycle. And then on the inside, so it's not itchy or the glue or the threads, nothing bothers me, I'm going to use this bit of jersey knit to cover everything up so it's nice and smooth against my skin. Now, this is an optional step, but I really think it adds a lot more comfort and longevity to your garments. You can also see here that I've finished sewing up the dress, and on all of the raw seams, instead of using a serger, because I don't have one, I lock them down into some seam tape, and that also makes it more comfortable and lasts a lot longer. But anyways, here's the completed embroidery. I hope that you like it. If you have any questions on what stitches I use or anything like that, you can comment or DM me on Instagram. One day I'd like to do a more in-depth embroidery tutorial, so keep an eye out for that. So we got our embroidery done. Now we're gonna do some dip dyeing because this dress was just so pink. It was so pink. So as you can see, I did dye it with some navy dye, but it turned out kind of a purplish eggplant, which I'm okay with. I think it looks okay, even though I was going for navy, but that's okay. This was my first time doing anything like this, so let's get into it. I've got my setup here, buttons there helping me. I've got a tub. I'm doing it in my bathtub so I don't make a mess. And then I'm just going to get everything ready in my plastic tub. So you want to use the hottest water that your fabric can take. I'm just using my hot water from the tap, and it seemed to work well enough. About every 12 to 15 minutes, I'm going to raise the dress up a little bit more, and this is to give it the gradient effect. And as you can see, some of my gradients aren't as smooth as I would like, so that's something that I can work on in the future, but I like how it turned out. Now you'd like to move around the bottom of the dress with that stick to make sure that no folds do the tie-dye effect. Everything's getting dyed evenly. And then when you're all done with that, following the instructions on your bottle, you're going to rinse out all of the dye until the water runs clear. Now this part is really important. If you don't, when you go to wash it or something like that, the excess dye is going to get in the water and all of your garment is going to end up dyed a little bit. So we're almost there. It took quite a long time, but it's all rinsed clear. So I'm going to go wash it in the washing machine and see how it turns out. I really like it. I think, you know, it turned out really cute. It definitely has that fantasy look I was going for. So I think I'm going to use it for like an elf kind of outfit with my flower crown that I made for this dress. But we'll see. We've got a little time before spring for me to make up my mind. But it's extremely comfortable. I love how it turned out. I could wear it, you know, forever because it feels like pajamas. But I hope you like it too. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can comment, you can DM me on Instagram, we can talk about it, and I hope this helps you for whatever projects that you're working on right now. Also, keep posted because I think I'm going to make an in-depth tutorial on how to sew together one of these dresses, how to make one like I do, and also a more historically designed pattern. So, keep an eye on me. Thank you so much for watching.